You know what this
What
is?
what?
You're Supergirl. Felicitaciones. Muy bien.
So there we have it. We have our Supergirl cast. That was true. Andy Muschetti, the director of The Flash, on his Instagram sharing that Zoom call with the actress, telling her that she had got the role of Supergirl and she looks so happy. Very emotional video. I actually love it. I think it's actually brilliant. But Sasha Calle has the role. She will be our new Supergirl, the first Supergirl since 1994 on the big screen. So that's pretty good, pretty iconic. But yeah, Andy Muschetti shared that. That movie is stacked right now. You know, we've got Ben Affleck's Batman return. We've got Michael Keaton. We've got talks of the Justice League appearing minus Cyborg. Hopefully that can change. And this is kind of a Flashpoint movie. You know, very much like Marvel are doing with the multiverse. Characters from different universes are going to pop up. Michael Keaton. Could Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, could she pop up? We don't know yet how much characters will show up from other timelines, or it'll just stick to this one. But there has been, there's rumours everywhere. We don't know exactly what's going on with the DCEU. We have to wait until the Snyder Cut comes out to see how big or not big that is, because DC, Warner Brothers want to move in a different direction altogether. They want to put that behind them. Might not be the best idea, but that's what they want to do, and this could be another way of showing difference from Snyder's world by adding a Supergirl. Now, this is Andy Muschetti. He's the director. He's doing his own thing, and he should be let tell his own story. And it seems packed. I'm looking forward to it to see how he gets all these characters into it and make it work. And now with Supergirl added to it. But a lot of questions that we do have is, what is the DCEU? Now, there is a multiverse. Anything can happen. Anybody can pop up. Flash in the Flash series. You know, anything can really happen to that degree. But do we see the Snyderverse left behind? Is this a way to squash the Snyderverse by adding in Supergirl? I don't know. I just like to think that it's the director wanting to tell a story that he wants to tell, and they're adding in Supergirl for that. And Henry Cavill's Superman, the Justice League, will show up in this movie because it is the Flashpoint movie and have roles and be important to the story. We have to wait and see. But I'm glad that this actress, Sasha Calle, has got the role. She looks so happy. I'm happy for her. I hope she can knock it out of the park and do pretty well. But what does it mean for Zack Snyder's Justice League if there's a hint towards Supergirl? Now, supposedly, there's supposed to be talk of the open pod in Zack Snyder's Justice League, a reference to it, a question to it, who owns this pod? That's Supergirl, okay? It's Supergirl, and she's probably out there somewhere, but does this contradict Zack Snyder's storyline? Now, the DCEU has changed things, look, by not showing Jared Leto's Joker, by, you know, different things that they've showed in the last few movies, and they have gone away from Snyder's world. Not hugely yet, not enough to say, oh, that's behind us. Shazam was pretty faithful to it, Birds of Prey still his characters, Suicide Squad was faithful, you know, so we haven't really got many to say, no, that old DC universe is dead. You can still reference it, and we've got characters from Snyder's world appearing in the Flash movie, so it can't be too distant. Or can it be? Or is the rumor right that this is a way to rewrite the DC universe for a new Batman, for a new Justice League team? I don't see the reason of having, like, you have the Batman movies with Matt Reeves coming, but then you have your DCEU movies where you will want to eventually do more Justice League. But why would you recast Ben Affleck's Batman with Michael Keaton? Now, that's okay if you're doing a standalone story with Michael Keaton and maybe a Batman Beyond kind of thing, but you can still let the Snyderverse live on and tell its Justice League movies as well. And look, if it is a big hit, HBO Max will want more of that money. They will, and that's a fact. But I think DC, Warner Brothers, have their own plan right now, and it doesn't involve the Snyderverse. But what happens if the Snyderverse is a hit? HBO Max will want more of that. So the Snyderverse could live on HBO Max. It definitely could. I think in some capacity it will. And I think on the DC movie front, on the theatrical releases, they'll try and do their own things. They'll have the Shazam verse with Black Adam, Shazam, Henry Cavill's Superman, maybe implementing Supergirl in that way. They'll have their Flash movies, they'll have their Aquaman movies, they'll have the Batman movies, which is outside of everything. They'll have Michael Keaton come in and mentor a certain character. They're going to have those things. So it doesn't seem to be a clear path, a clear focus of storytelling. Very much like Marvel have. That doesn't seem to be going on at DC right now. We've got all these individual directors and stories going on with different kind of infights happening at the studio of what to do and who to use going forward. Talks of Henry Cavill getting recast, talks of Ben Affleck getting recast, talks of the Justice League being rebooted with Flash and something like that, you know. We just don't know. And Cyborg as well is another character that could be recast. He seems to be the character in the Snyderverse, but he doesn't seem to be the character in the DCU right now. And Ben Affleck's Batman seems to be the Batman in the Snyderverse. and in the DCEU, but that could be changed, got to do with Flashpoint. It could be Michael Keaton. So it's kind of is messy in that way, and it's hard to understand what exactly is going on. I don't know how big of a role that Sasha Calle will have in Supergirl, but they went through a big casting process, it looks like, from that video, and it looks like that they have plans for her for the future. Could they be doing a Supergirl spin-off movie where Henry Cavill appears in that as a mentor to Supergirl? That'd be pretty cool. But would it tie to the Snyderverse? Maybe just be a distant relationship to the Snyderverse, very much like a Wonder Woman 84 or an Aquaman 2. Those movies take place outside of the Snyderverse. They're not necessarily connected to what Snyder is telling, but they're the same actors, the same characters, but they're just in a different mission, maybe a different timeline, and they're going through these different situations. So, look, the DCEU, I've been saying for a long time, is a multiverse. Anything can happen, anything will happen. It's kind of messy, but if you just take each movie on its own and watch it, it's cool. You know, you got the CW as well. You got the Titans show, the Doom Patrol. Nothing is connected too much in the DCEU, but there is ways of telling interesting and unique stories, and even sometimes using the same actors. You can do that. You can use Ben Affleck in the Snyderverse. You can use Ben Affleck in the DCEU Flash. You can use Aquaman in the Snyderverse, and vice versa. You can use those certain characters, the same actors, but they're playing a different kind of variation of the character. You know, Batfleck can be more serious in this movie. He can be more kind of light in this movie. It's the same actor, the same character, but just different interpretation of how they're playing the character got to do with the script and the director and maybe that universe that they're in at that time. So it's interesting, but that's a really cool video. I really like it. You know, Andy Muschetti, I've good faith in them that they'll give us a good Flash movie. I wish Ray Fisher was in it. I wish Cyborg was in it. Hopefully he can end up being in it. But yeah, at the end of the day, if Warner Brothers say he can't be in it, maybe he can't put it in it then. So it's just disappointing on that front, but they've added Sasha Calle maybe to replace Cyborg in some way as a big character. I don't know. But it looks like from this news they're eyeing towards a Supergirl movie in the future, probably. They tried that with Harley Quinn, didn't work too well. But this is Supergirl. Supergirl hasn't had a movie since 1994 where it kind of flopped, wasn't a big hit. And the thing about this, I think this is the right capacity to add in Supergirl. I think the worst thing you could do is make a Supergirl movie off the fly and just go, here's Supergirl. I think the best way to do is introduce the character in an assembled movie. Very much like the Suicide Squad film. I always use that as a great example. Made money, was an attraction. Everybody went. Why? Because the trailers, the marketing was good. And why? Will Smith, Joker, Batman were in it. They went for those characters. They came out talking about Harley Quinn, which led to a Birds of Prey spin-off, and Harley Quinn very much being the forefront of Suicide Squad 2. That could be what happens for Supergirl. People go in, they watch Flash. Oh, Ben Affleck's Batman. Michael Keaton, Henry Cavill. They come out talking about, wow, that Sasha Calle was a pretty good Supergirl. I would like to see a movie of hers. They greenlit a movie. They add in an extra bit of star power to it. They market it like that at Henry Cavill or however you want, and say, look, there's a Supergirl. Henry Cavill's in it. It's a good way to market the movie. There you go. There's your Supergirl movie. So I think that's what the plan should be for Supergirl going forward. But I hope it's not a big tactic by Warner Brothers, by the Walter Amadas, by the Tommy Emmerich to say, yeah, put Supergirl in this, because we know that Supergirl is referenced in Zack Snyder's Justice League. And if we have a different Supergirl over here, they can't recast another Supergirl and then tell a different story. You know, you never know what these guys think. You know, at the end of the day, you don't. Hopefully it's all for the good benefit of us watching and enjoying movies. But again, we've heard things about the Snyder Cut before that they just don't like, and they don't want that world. They want it squashed, they want it away. But TNT came along. So I would say not to worry about it too much, to enjoy this. I hope she does a great job. She looks very enthusiastic about it, and I'm sure she will do a great job. But the Snyderverse is coming first. The Snyder Cut's coming first, March 18th. What happens if that's a big hit? What happens if it cries louder than any other DC movie in the next 2 or 3 years? You think AT&T are going to sit there with their hands full and like, oh, that was a pretty good once off. Yeah, made us money. So what are we doing next? You know, I think it's a good opportunity. The Snyder Cut is coming first before any other DC movie. The next one is August with The Suicide Squad, which doesn't seem to be connected to the connective tissue in the universe either. The next big assembled kind of DCU connected film is The Flash. But what happens if Zack Snyder's Justice League is a huge hit? What happens if people want more of that? Of course, I'd be happy with the DCU over here, tell those individual standalone stories and maybe the characters can intertwine, but also have this Snyderverse over here where you can tell whatever story you want within the Snyderverse, and this is Zack Snyder's world, and these characters don't necessarily have to be the same over there. It's just a different timeline, a different interpretation, a different story going on, and they don't have to connect whatsoever. You can use the same characters, but they don't have to connect the story values. That's what I hope the future of the DC universe is going forward. Then you get movies like The Joker, the Batman, you know, maybe a Bane movie. You get certain things like that. So I think everybody can win-win in that situation. You have the CW, you have Titans. If you don't like one, watch the other. But yeah, that video was pretty cool. Andy Muschetti's The Flash has added Supergirl to it, which is amazing. Hopefully we get more announcements. Will the Justice League all pop up? Will Michael Keaton pop up? He's been very quiet for a while, and Ben Affleck is still set to appear. Let's see how it goes. But guys, what do you think of this casting? Have you known this actress before from other roles? I haven't seen her before, but she looks very beautiful. She looks very enthusiastic about it, and I'm sure she can do a great job. Do you like it? What do you think this means for the Flash movie? Is it too stacked? Is it too packed with characters, or do you think Ali Muschetti can make it work like he did with It 1 and It 2? What do you think this means for the Snyderverse going forward? What happens if Supergirl is mentioned in Zack Snyder's Justice League? Can he still tell that story over here if more movies happen, or will she just be kept for the theatrical releases of movies? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's not as messy as I make it out to be, or maybe I just have I'm too used to Warner Brothers BS. But guys, let me know your thoughts below. I think it's cool, brilliant, good for her, and let me know. Guys, follow me on all the stuff. That stuff is in the end credits.